Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading. Well, not really using a tarot deck. I don't remember what the name of it's called. But we're going to use it to see a story of what could be going on in Cancer energy. And people will, oh goodness, that's a lot. People will handle this energy differently depending on kind of their emotional maturity level in their Cancer energy. Kind of like how an 18-year-old would handle it versus a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old or a 45-year-old. But sadly, growing and maturing ourselves emotionally is different than age groups. And some people can be 65 and they can be more like a 21-year-old emotionally. So, but learning how to deal with our emotions is something we have to make the free will choice to wrap our brain around and work with, just like we can be consumed by our minds and our thoughts. We can be enslaved by a lot of things, and we're complex human beings. And just like some people don't ever get control of their thoughts, and they become enslaved to those, and we have like our passionate sexual nature, some people are a slave to that. Some people just don't learn how to work with things very well, so they're kind of at we would kind of view them as immature in it. But just like some of the people you could view as immature emotionally, those people in turn could view some other people immature emotionally. We're kind of all at different stages of learning lessons in life. So we start out with the card not showing itself, and the reason it came out is carrying connections. And the way we could view curing connections is it starts within ourself. So we all have our more emotionally intuitive, loving nature. We have our worldly nature, which again can be all those things. We can have the masculine energies in tarot can represent that we could be operating more from our ego nature. But if we've grown and matured ourselves, we're more balanced within ourselves. We stand up for our more emotionally intuitive, loving nature to be more balanced within ourselves. And then as we go take action in the world, which the masculine cards can represent, we are more balanced and aligned with ourselves. Some people, whether they're male or female, indulge their emotional nature where it's more like they love themselves. And it's really more about them, right? But let's see what this card is. The Temple Path. So, the Temple Path could be about learning these lessons in life. And some people have learned more of those lessons than some other people. When we go out in the world and we're meeting other people, the way at work, out in our community, whatever, we really don't know where people are at on this journey of life. If they're more emotionally mature, more immature, more manipulative, more prideful, more egotistical, it can take time to get to know people. And just like you don't know the truth about some people, and some people you do know, and they are not someone who's on the same kind of page as you are. Other people can know that you're not on the same page as them. And so this card does kind of remind me of like the Two of Cups in Cancer energy. In our Two of Cups of Cancer energy, we have the free will to align with our more worldly nature. Some people reject kind of being a spiritual leader in the world is what the Temple Path can be about. They don't want to do that. They're kind of more in love with being about the world or themselves and just living a more worldly life. And some people we might know, we don't know yet, and we kind of listen to our intuition and get to know people to find out who's who. And let's go to the next group. We have the Angel of Balance, the Door to Value, the Journey, the fifth chakra, which is a throat chakra, which is kind of Taurus energy, which the Temple Path kind of reminds me of the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, and Taurus can have to do with our philosophy of life. what we align with, what our truth is, what we love. And then we have the Angel of Strength, the World card, and the Ten of Cups. And the reason it came out is because of the second chakra, which, shoot, I should have had my cheat sheet around here, but the first chakra can be at a really core foundational level. Hopefully people have, at a core foundational level, have learned and feel that, some of their more basic needs are met. And then in the second chakra, it can be wanting to be in friendship and relationship with other people and maybe not just consumed with just our own wants and needs and things like that. And then in the second chakra, we want to be in friendship and relationship with other people. Well, the Angel of Balance, of course, reminds us of the Temperance card and the door to value. I think with the red there, it kind of reminds me of Libra energy. We're all inspired by what we're inspired by and what we view as abundant. And we all want to be in relationships, maybe with people who are kind of inspired and motivated by some of the same things we are, those things that make up our life that we find enjoyable, and everybody's kind of mix of what they would like that to contain can be different. Some people are fire sign energy, air sign energy, their truth, what they think is just and fair, what they think is fun, um, and just how they view life, what they think is just and fair. And everybody kind of likes to hang out with people who they kind of think are on the same page as them. And then in the Journey card, that kind of reminds me of the Eight of Wands, which is also Sagittarius energy. They're going to move forward with people. If they are, say, someone who is more motivated by the world, they're going to want to be in relationships with people who are more motivated by the world. If the reason they even want to get in a relationship and move forward in a relationship is maybe more that it has a certain status or image to it, um, that's the kind of people they're going to get in a relationship with. If they just want to be in a relationship, shadowy Sagittarius can be, I'm kind of more of an immature player. And if they're a more immature player, they probably want to be in relationships with other people who want to live their life like that. It's kind of all these different stages of life of in our Sagittarius and Libra energy. Are we more motivated by the world, more motivated to live more from our mind than our heart, kind of let our passionate nature kind of run our life, our more indulgent nature? We're going to get in relationships with people like that. And the people who have more tempered, their more immature nature to be more balanced, and then Sagittarius can be about higher learning and education. I've kind of tempered my more immature, egoic, worldly nature. We all want stability and security. We all want friendship and relationship. But some people want a more tempered, balanced relationship that's maybe a little more emotionally mature. And they're going to look for people to be in relationships with people who are like that. And at any given moment, people are probably moving forward with people in their life who seem to be a little bit more on the same page as them. There could always be other people in our life that it could seem a little mismatch, but depending on how much they're involved in our life, if they're a social acquaintance that we hang out with periodically or a friend, that might be okay. Uh, but the more mismatched we are, uh, you know, the journey can be eventually we kind of distance ourselves from each other because it can be like we're always having to temper what we'd really like to go do because of just the way the other people are or how they act, or it's kind of like indulging someone who just has a different way of acting or behaving that you know and eventually you kind of don't want to keep tempering yourself for kind of indulging people in what you could feel is more immature behavior or stubborn or prideful or whatever it is, right? It's like, I'm going to kind of go find people, again, with the fifth chakra being Taurus energy, maybe people who I think are kind of more on the same page as me, who their truth is the same truth as mine, because the throat chakra can be about speaking your truth, and um and then we go on those journeys just to get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And then we might speak our truth to some of the people who we think are more on the same page as us, that uh you know we could enjoy their company. It's not more like having to temper ourselves to be in a relationship or be around them, uh because we feel like, the strength card is, again, where people have tempered their more immature beastly nature in whatever way that can be. And when we're in relationship with other people, we kind of feel like we're on the same page. It just flows easier. And that can also be the journey card, kind of reminding me of the Eight of Wands. So we kind of move away from people who could want us to just keep balancing out our emotions and kind of indulging them in their philosophy of life, but their philosophy of life could be harnessing their Leo energy in a more shadowy way, where they are maybe more bossy or controlling, or it has to be more about them. And we'd rather move forward with people who harness it, you know, high vibe Leo or high vibe Sagittarius, Libra, Taurus, Leo, versus being in relationships with people who we think feel they harness it in a more shadowy way, a little more stubborn, a little more prideful, a little bit more about them, wanting to be indulged, maybe think they're the center of attention. It should be more about them. When we're more shadowy, of course, um, it is the stage of life that we're at. So, of course, that's how we think and view life. So we think it's just and fair. And, sometimes it's not till other people are like, uh, kind of distance themselves from us that we kind of realize, we can be confused. Like, why'd they do that? I wanted to move forward with them. And they're like, uh, I don't think this is a right mix. and, uh, and that's when people could maybe have to consider how it is that they get along with people, right? And the difference between the second chakra and the fifth chakra, well, at the middle is the life force energy, which kind of reminds me of Leo energy about, it's again kind of more what drives and motivates you, what you want to give birth to, what your truth is. And then the heart chakra about, again, what you love, what drives and motivates you. And some people could feel that, our truth is different. Um, Again, could feel like you're on different emotional maturity levels, and that some other people, maybe since this person is looking that way and it is a masculine figure, whether they're male or female, you could think they're more kind of motivated to indulge their more immature worldly nature instead of tempering their ego to work together with people maybe more cooperatively. And then we have the World card and the Ten of Cups. And the World can talk about closing out a cycle with some people. And it could have been people, the Ten of Cups can be, just how we want to keep moving forward and what we find emotionally fulfilling. And we could find as we move forward with some people that, the way you want to move forward and what you find more emotionally fulfilling. And in a more shadowy nature, you could be more inspired by the world, and you could temper your ego more for the world or other people in the world, kind of where it's kind of letting the world manipulate you because you want these friendships or these relationships. And that could be their philosophy of life. And it could, just more driven and motivated by it. And other people are like, I want friendship and relationship too, but I have my truth, and I'm not gonna like be kissing other people's ass just because they have a certain status or image in the world, and I want to be part of that club or something. If I don't find those people very loving or authentic, because the world card can mean closing out a cycle. And it's like, if I get to know people and I can respect everyone, that they have the free will to live their life the way they want. But if I think they're more manipulative and they're not really aligned with their more loving nature, and they do harness these energies in a more shadowy way, and again could feel like maybe because I do have a certain status or image in the world, or I just am kind of full of myself, and I think people should kind of indulge me in relationships, like, I'm going to let some other people indulge you and I'm going to move on. So again, it can be that there's some people in your life that you're not moving forward with because, again, in their philosophy of life, of how they view relationships, and a shadowy kind of, we've had this card and the Temple Path, I view as kind of Taurus energy, and in our Taurus energy and philosophy of life, a more shadowy Taurus way of viewing relationships, it isn't just and fair. It isn't treating other people the way you like to be treated. And if it's a romantic relationship, it's not really love that drives and motivates some people. And it is kind of more transactional, and it can be whoever seems to have more in their eyes anyway. Well, I'm more attractive, or I have more social clout, or I have more money or status or image or power, or I'm more attractive, or whatever it is that they value. If they feel like they have more of that, or again, they're just full of themselves or narcissistic, and of course they think it should be more about them, then they think other people should balance out their emotions about being in a relationship with them. Well, you want to be in a friendship or relationship, and I feel like I have some of those things of the world, and that's what motivates and inspires me. Isn't that what motivates and inspires you? You should want to be in a relationship with me, and you should indulge me in these ways of being that I have decided are just or fair, even if you don't think they're just and fair. And they could view that that's the way the world works. And it does for some people. That is probably at any given moment, 50% of the people have that way of viewing life. And of course, when we're growing up, you know, it's about coming in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And we got a lot of lessons to learn in our own Hierophant philosophy of life. What do I think is just and fair? When do I think I should more temper my ego and indulge maybe people? We can temper our ego in a way to treat everybody the way we like to be treated and with respect. But do I want to be in a more involved relationship with you, or keep staying in a friendship or relationship with people who are like that I think are kind of shadowy? Some people said no, because their philosophy of life is, I want to be in relationships with people who, high vibe Leo, have been illuminated to the truth, that feel like at a core foundational level, their truth is, I'm more motivated by truth and love and justice and fairness, and some other people at a core foundational level that are going out in the world to meet other people, their truth is they're aligned with their more worldly or shadowy or transactional view of relationships. And we don't know that until we get to know some people. And then when we learn that, it's like, I kind of get the feeling this person does think it should be more about them, or is only wanting to be in the relationship or stay in the relationship if they benefit more for these more worldly reasons. And it really maybe doesn't have to do with love. And then some of those relationships end. So then we have the action card, which also reminds me of Sagittarius energy. I guess the journey card between Sagittarius and Aries energy. But the action card, high vibe people are more balanced between their high vibrational nature and their more worldly, shadowy nature, but their high vibe nature is the one that's in the driver's seat of their life. And in the fourth chakra, which is their heart, it's more love that guides and motivates them. And high vibe energy and high vibe Leo, and high vibe Taurus, and of course high vibe Libra, Aquarius, Cancer, Sagittarius, Pisces. It's about being more independent, not being so manipulated by the world and caught up in the world and your want for these things of the world that you kind of sacrifice your own truth. Hold back your truth because you want the world to love you, or some people in your world to love you. Some people are willing to sacrifice their truth. Some people, what they value and what they're following is people who they do think, instead of love and truth and justice being what they follow, it's more of a love of who does have this status and image in the world, or who I want to be that person. I want other people to indulge me. And if I can't find someone to indulge me, I'm willing to indulge someone else. And high vibe energy is we both want to be leading with our high vibrational nature. We temper our shadow nature. And then we can move forward with people both motivated and inspired by love. And we treat each other the way we like to be treated. And it's not having to indulge someone. And at the end of the story is the attachment card. It's like freeing yourself, taking off your social mask and living your authentic truth from love. And underneath that, cornucopia, which is kind of like the Nine of Pentacles, being more independent of the world, being balanced between your mind and your heart. So the broken heart is kind of like the Three of Swords. I have my dualistic nature. I choose to let my more high vibrational nature run my life, guide my life. And other people are going to move forward in this energy, feeling they've freed themselves from their more loving nature because they love the world. And that's their truth. And they're going to maybe live more from their mind than their heart. It's just that the shadowy people in the seventh chakra kind of hide that they use their intuition in a shadowy way. We all were given our emotions, our thought, our intellect, our creative, passionate nature, our worldly nature. We can use all those resources in a more shadowy, manipulative way if we're a more transactional person. Who do I think I can manipulate, control, get to be more about me? And if I can't find someone who's willing to do that, who can I go indulge? It's more, instead of letting love and intuition guide them, they have a fear of aligning with their more hopeful believing nature. They think and have concluded, like, no, I'm not going to listen to love and intuition. I think I love the world. I need to work more with these things of the world. And they ignore using all of the gifts they've kind of been given in a more high vibrational way. They use their emotions manipulatively. They use their sexuality, their looks, their power, their money, their charm. And it's all, kind of a dog eat dog world. I'm either the one who's more indulged or it'll be you. And that's why some of the people who you get in relationships with that do have that, kind of buried in a subconscious level within themselves would have a hard time admitting that to themselves. But love is supposed to be just and fair. It isn't supposed to be, well, but that's why people who don't want to do love could have a fear of doing love because they're afraid if they were to do love and they were being more authentic and vulnerable and loving and invested, that then maybe your mask would come off, maybe like some other people in their life, and they'd be heartbroken, and you would use that to try to manipulate them. So they lack a little hope and faith and belief in themselves and in others and in love, and maybe decide not to do love. No, that's the danger zone. I get hurt doing that. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go let go of those people, and instead I would rather be in a more transactional relationship where either it is more about me and I'm kind of trying to manipulate or take advantage of someone, or I'll just indulge someone else, but I'm not going to do love. And other people were in relationships like that. And in our worldly nature, because we want to be in friendship and relationship, and if we are in friendship and relationship or marriage, which is what Taurus can represent, but it can also represent family dynamics and jobs and institutions and organizations that we belong to. Other people kind of saw through the illusion of it and how it was kind of more this, well, if I seem to have more power or influence than you, then I think I should be able to do this or act like this. And these other people kind of indulge me in it, and you should indulge me too. Well, to a degree, we can, right? But depending on how extreme it is and how often it occurs, eventually some people are like, no, I don't care if you're my adult child, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, a long term friend, a romantic interest, or someone I was married to. When we're in relationships, we have the free will in Taurus energy to act with more character and integrity and temper our more immature egoic nature and choose love or not. And if you keep showing me over and over that, basically from the 2 to the 5, that I feel somewhere in there you got some things twisted and we're not on the same page, then I'm definitely going to distance myself out of love for myself. Can I have love for you and wish you the best? Yeah. Do I want to hang out with you more? No. I'm not going to. The attachment card also kind of reminds me of Leo energy because we can hide behind our more defensive nature, our more immature nature, um, ego full of ourselves, don't want to learn lessons in life, don't want to be more just and fair and balanced and loving, want to keep staying in denial of the truth. That's shadowy energy. Don't want to grow up, don't want to temper your ego. I'm no longer in denial about the truth. And out of love for myself, I'm going to become independent of you. Even though I might be heartbroken, I'm going to listen to my intuition. I want to move forward with people who are more just and fair, stable, balanced, emotionally mature, insightful, loving. And if you're not acting like that, you can go do that with whoever you want to go do it with. And I will become independent of you and deal with the truth of it. And I will heal. And I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to take the lesson I learned from this, and me and the people in my life who do get along like this together, we're going to keep getting along together where we can be authentically ourselves because we're not in relationships with people who are trying to manipulate or control people or manipulate, and use their loving nature to try to manipulate them. I can love you and keep my distance from you, and I don't want to be in a friendship or relationship with you. Can I wish you the best? Yeah, I hope you grow up and mature yourself. But if you don't, hey, we've all lived our life at different stages of life, and some of us kind of, Sagittarius is again about learning lessons in life out of love. to free ourselves from things that manipulate us. And we've been there, and some of us got stuck in those stages of life for quite a while because we were pretty sure all those things we made our life about were going to make us happy. We were having fun. We didn't want to change. And some people could stay at a certain phase of life all their life. And we could just view some people like they haven't, that there could be things that just still manipulate them. Some people are just more codependent. I want to be in a relationship to be in a relationship. And if they are in a relationship and they have someone who indulges them and they get along well enough, look, if it looks good by worldly standards and the Taurus and Leo energy, by worldly standards, hey man, we got it going on. I don't know why everybody doesn't live in their life like this. But it could be more everybody being in it. But again, everybody's at these different stages of life. There could be other people looking at us and we think in relationship to some people, not like it's really comparison, but it's just that we have different drives and motivations, right? So while we could be over here in this energy in relationship to some people, some of those people in relationship to some other people they know are over here compared to those people. It's just different emotional maturity levels and how much you've tempered your ego or your immature nature, or your self-indulgent nature, or your lazy nature, your being full of yourself nature, wanting to be indulged nature. And then other people could view us as back here and they're like, why aren't those people more free from things that manipulate them? It's all just relative, but all we can do is learn these lessons in life, be willing to get out of our ego to see where if we would like to free ourselves from some things that manipulate us, we need to be willing to deal with the truth. That's like kind of like high vibe Taurus and Leo. Out of love for ourselves. The path I'm on is not maybe aligned with my truth or isn't really what I love. See how it manipulates me. Am I more immature nature? Am I more stubborn nature? Am I more prideful nature? In our Taurus and Leo nature and Cancer, we can all want things to work out the way we want. And we could always hope other people will change. Well, high vibe energy is being a leader in the world, and that's high vibe Taurus and Leo. I'm going to live my truth and stand up for my truth, treat other people the way I like to be treated. And I'm going to move forward in that truth. I'm going to let love be my listening to love and intuition and justice and fairness. I accept that everybody's where they're at. I can offer people truth and love and encouragement, but if that's not their truth, and there's some things they're not ready, the world can talk about closing out a chapter or healing something that was stopping people from closing out a chapter and kind of being more independent of it. We have to learn the lesson we were meant to learn at that phase of life before we can move forward. And some people will never learn that lesson. And so we stay in the energy of truth and love to people, but I'm not going to indulge people in poor behavior. It has to be just and fair. And if it's not, then I wish them peace and I'm going to kind of keep my distance from them. I don't want to kind of live a life of illusion, like everything's wonderful, everything's great, even though we could have done that for quite some time. And some people could be going through something like that right now. And some of the people are like, no, 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 I'm sure they'll change. I don't want to move forward without them or without, and just like you with some people didn't want to move forward without those people, some of the people we're in a relationship are like, yeah, but I'm not going to move forward with you if these other people in my life aren't moving forward like that. And it's like, well, maybe you love them. Some people, though, are more codependent. But the same thing, we have to become free of some things that manipulate us, which again could just be our more immature nature, our bossy nature, our prideful nature, our stubborn nature. And some people just that they had lessons learned, they haven't learned them yet. And sometimes by being a good example, some of those people in your life could know you love them. And they thought you'd keep moving forward with them. It's kind of like they want to keep moving forward in this same energy. Let's keep being kind of more loving, being more immature. Let's keep doing things, again, at whatever stage of life it is. Let's keep moving forward the way we've been moving forward. You don't want to become independent of me. I don't want to become independent of you. I don't want to become independent of those people or that or the world or my ego or my fear. And because they love things and people in their life they don't want to become independent of, they would think that you then, because you love them, won't become independent of them. But if some of the things that manipulate them don't manipulate you, it's like, but I'm ready to kind of move forward and be independent. Those things, I might have healed or grown or matured myself or never had some of those things manipulate me the way it manipulates you. And that can be where you just, some people, it's more about the world and the ego. Well, the world maybe never manipulated me that much, and the ego. I mean, just some people are more caught up in those things than other people. And it's like, yeah, can I have love for you? But yeah, but I don't want to keep moving forward like that. And I've kind of gotten clear that's not my truth. And I did feel like I wasn't able to live my more authentic life because shadowy energy, kind of represented by the devil at the big picture, not on the temple path, is where it is. And the lover's card looks just like the devil card in a regular Rider-Waite deck, except instead of an angel, there's the devil, which can mean it's more about the world and the ego or the codependency or whatever it is you're looking to be the answer instead of love and growing and healing and maturing yourself. And then other people, though, using the love that you have for them to try to manipulate you. And it's like, well, that's not just and fair. That's not very loving. And so I can't wear a false mask and pretend this is okay when this isn't what we think is just and fair of how to treat other people in a friendship, a relationship, or romantic or otherwise. My truth is different. And I might have tried to communicate that and been patient and been loving and encouraging, but I can't make people be inspired within themselves to speak their truth or stand up for themselves or temper their fears or their ego or their self-indulgent nature, whatever, or whatever way they want to live their life, that they're like, I think this is just and fair. I don't know why you don't. It's like, well, then we do want to move forward differently, and kind of what we love and kind of what drives and motivates us is different. Can everybody be sad? Yeah. But your truth is different than my truth. The things that you might be more independent of and love and like to go invest your time, energy, and effort into that you think are just and fair are different than what they want to. Everybody can be sad. And so everybody could move forward, continuing to love and invest in what they think is just and fair. And some people, we don't think they're more immature or shadowy. We could think they're a great person, but, we could feel that though there can be love there and respect, what is that kind of magical thing that, makes a friend a best friend, makes someone you date, someone that you kind of, it's different. And it isn't with other people. You can't force something to be what it's not. And so sometimes that's what it is. But high vibe people right now, with the card not showing itself again, some people are walking their truth. They're not trying to hide their truth. Shadowy people could more be trying to hide their truth because they want to come across as a more stable, grounded, emotionally mature, balanced, loving person than they maybe really are. But high vibe people are who they say they are. Just other people in the world who've also kind of dealt with some shadowy people. They can be a little leery because, of course, some of the people they got in a relationship with created the illusion that they were more loving, and later they could have found out with those people that they weren't. So here with the Temperance card and the Justice card and the Journey, it's like, I'm willing to get to know people, and just like you're willing to get to know people, other people willing to get to know you. And in the Sagittarius energy, that life is a journey. We do go on this journey, and I have my lessons to learn about, get more clear about what my truth is. Other people are on their journey to get more clear about what their truth is. And probably as you get older, that more mature, more tempered, less manipulated by your more immature nature, and kind of speaking your truth and willing to get to know people, but um maybe less likely to more rush into something like you could have done when you were younger, because you've already learned that some people can wear a very good false mask, and some people harness these energies in a shadowy way, and they're not who they say they are. So um and as you could communicate to some people your truth as you're moving forward, if some of those people um aren't moving forward with you, you get out of your ego to accept the truth of it, because you could reach out to people and you find out they're in a relationship. You could meet someone, you're getting to know them, and then you find out they're in a relationship. Say you're single. It's like, okay, got to move on. Or, you're kind of getting to know someone, and just like you could tell someone that, I don't know if this is quite going where we thought it was going to go. Um, or someone might tell you that. Again, high vibe people are able to get out of their ego about it. Can we be sad? Yes, but we know our worth and value. We can, flip the roles where we know we've kind of been on the receiving end. Sometimes the other people are on the receiving end. And we listen to our intuition if we think people were telling the truth, not telling the truth, if they are who they say they are. And some people will continue to be people who are like a role model in our life. That didn't work out, but they had some really good traits, qualities, and ways of being about them, that's what I'm looking for. And it didn't work out with them, but I could have even learned things, you know, get a little more clear, just like maybe I do like people who are a little more um, just inspired to be more authentic. And maybe I really hadn't been around people who harnessed a more high vibe, Sagittarius, Taurus, Leo, Cancer. Maybe I hadn't been in relationships with people who are more balanced. It's kind of more tipped out of balance. And, you just, even just from anybody that you meet, that if that isn't the kind of people we were around before as much, and now when we kind of realize that didn't seem to be the right mix, then we're moving forward and we can meet other people. And again, coming into contact with all these people to help get clear about more of what we do like and what we don't like. Now, for some people, you could be in relationships, you could be meeting some people, and you have no interest in moving forward with other people or being independent of them. You know, realizing this is your truth in high vibe energy of whatever stage of life you're at and your emotional maturity level. And that, working through those things, you're on the same page and you're going to move forward together. And some people who have been kind of getting to know each other and could still maybe be moving forward, getting to know each other, there could be a time where people kind of more make it known, to other people, kind of with the attachment card, like, I've been getting to know this person and we've been hanging out and we've been friends, if it's at that stage of a relationship. And then people could be like, I think this is someone that my heart and my intuition is telling me they are someone who I love and that I want to move forward with. And, maybe some other people didn't know some people, kind of felt that way about each other, and again, it could just start out as attraction, but then people could start to talk to each other more, get to know each other more, and sometimes kind of feeling like, wow, when I think of if I weren't, just this feeling, I want to keep getting to know this person. And that can be as things progress, as some people are like, I am going to have to, after having kind of gotten to know someone or knowing them or working with them, I'm going to have to come out from hiding and kind of reveal that I would like to get to know you more, and then it could be just becoming more independent. And some people right now could know some people, but they're kind of trying to decide, kind of what is my truth. Do I want to put an end to being more about myself and maybe not getting in a more formal commitment, and also could be trying to get over pain and heartbreak of an old commitment? And for some, that could be why they're not in a relationship right now. And then when they work through that and have become independent and worked through emotionally and kind of gotten out of their ego of a former relationship, then they're kind of more ready to move forward. And that also then might be when they're more willing to be more, just willing to reveal a little bit more of themselves to the people in the meantime that they've just kind of been getting to know and know in their life, while they do this work to heal from some things that didn't work out. And then they're kind of ready to, because they have become independent of it. And sometimes when some people have went through something, other people could view them as people they'd like to be in a relationship with, but they don't want, and it's them kind of listening to their intuition, and you could be doing this in regards to some other people too, that when they've went through something, it does take time to kind of be free of that, even though people could be out of it, people could have gotten out of relationships, they could have gotten out of a marriage, blah, blah. But it can take time, because we're these emotionally complex human beings, to really be ready to move forward in a new relationship. And other people don't want to get in a relationship with someone if they kind of haven't completed that process and really kind of seen through the illusion of maybe some of the people, or gotten over the pain or the heartbreak of it. And when they see, as they could watch, just like you could watch, some people starting to move forward in life and be a little bit more out of working through that, then when your intuition tells you, if it's you or someone else, that they might be willing to more reveal that I would like to get to know you more. For some, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy? And some people could be going through it right now, a job, friendship, or relationship, that they thought, that everybody again was going, that they were who they said they were, that they were more motivated and inspired to work together more cooperatively, inspired by love. And then they could have found out that that wasn't the case, and they could have felt like some people they were in a relationship with were more not telling the truth of who they were. And for some of them, you could have felt like they were more immature and more about themselves or things of the world or ego and image and love. What's coming up for the high vibe people? They're going on a new journey. The Fool card. Why? Because of the Strength card and the Queen of Pentacles. When we temper our ego about some of these things that happened in our past, and holding the One Pentacle and the Queen of Pentacles is kind of having learned the lesson that you meant to learn. And realizing that while you might want to take a leap of faith moving forward, maybe in a more formal commitment, other people don't want to do that. You want to go on a journey inspired to keep learning lessons, keep shedding more of your more immature nature and tempering your ego and continuing to emotionally grow and mature yourself. Some people in your life, they don't want to do that. Realizing that some people are more wanting people to temper their ego being in a relationship with them. And if you weren't wanting to do that, they were going to go find someone who would, because that's how they view relationships. And or maybe they saw someone who had these things of the world that they thought they wanted and would make them happy, and they're going on that journey, and you just accept the truth of all of it. You have your truth, other people have their truth. You've tempered your ego, you've learned the lesson, you're going on a new journey. And it's all part of this process. So some people who are in the process of it right now, they're maybe still here, and they haven't quite closed out that cycle and aren't ready emotionally. And for the people who are, and people could see that they keep moving forward and they don't go back and get in certain relationships or repeat certain patterns, that they really do seem to have maybe grown or healed or matured themselves in some way, and they're moving forward. That's when some other people are like, you know what, I think they're done with that. And that could be, or you could do that in relation to other people, but somebody else might be willing to take a leap of faith then. No matter what, you're taking a leap of faith, and you're looking to the future. You're emotionally moving forward in life differently than you were moving forward before. Emotionally investing in your truth. Becoming independent of an old way of living life or people in your life. And the people in your life who seem to be repeating a pattern or have moved on with someone else, whether you think they're more shadowy or more high vibe, you accept the truth of it and you believe Divine's got a plan for your life, and you're going to keep moving forward with the people in your life who are loving and encouraging, and you will meet more of the people who are more on the same page as you. But high vibe people who learn the lesson, it's like you get to go to the next level of the video game of life, to go face challenges at that next level, because you kind of graduated from a certain level. You learned the lesson you were meant to learn. Now, more people who are a little more shadowy or immature or whatever, and they had their lesson to learn at a phase of life, those people are going back to repeat that pattern. They might not know it, and they might think, no, 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 I'm going to move forward just like those people. But they didn't learn the lesson. And as they try to move forward in a different job, friendship, or relationship, whatever the case is, they didn't learn that lesson. So they're like the same person they were in the last friendship, job, or relationship. And they try to move forward just with someone else, thinking they just need to find the other person, someone who's more on the same page as them. But if we don't grow and heal and mature ourselves, and kind of shed an old layer of ourself, we're going to kind of keep being drawn and attracted to certain type of people or repeating some of the same patterns that made the other one not work out. You can get, it doesn't matter if they would either get in relationships with people who are more like them, or they try to create an illusion again that they're more healed, more mature, have worked through some of these issues. They're not more immature. They're not wearing a false mask. They're not living more from their mind than their heart. It's not more about the ego or the image. But whatever it was that was the problem in the last relationship with for them that contributes to it not moving forward in a more just or fair or balanced or emotionally mature way, partly part of that is because of them. I mean, everybody has to take their share of responsibility, but some of them don't want to do love. They just want to indulge in love. And they try to get in relationships with people who are more loving. Because that's like the dream life, right? Can I be kind of bossy and immature and pouty or controlling or manipulative or self indulgent or lazy and you love me? That can be like a shadowy Queen of Pentacles where they're looking for someone to indulge them in their poor behavior. Well, yeah, they could find someone who's willing to do that, but they're not growing and healing and maturing themselves. So it's repeating an old pattern. It's just with different people. The other people don't have an interest in repeating this pattern anymore. It's like, I was 15, I was 18, I was 21, I was 25. I don't want to go back and live my life like that again. The other people had the opportunity to move forward, to free themselves from things that manipulate them, but something still manipulates them. So they're going to be repeating that same pattern just with different people. The other people really have grown and matured themselves or healed or tempered their more immature nature in some way. And they haven't, some of them, right? The more shadowy people in your life. But you're going to have a new beginning. And it might be, if it was a job, getting a new job. If it was a more mature, nurturing friendship, a more mature, nurturing friendship. If it was a relationship with people who are more emotionally mature and tempered, it'll be that. If it's that you want to, part of getting to know people and getting in a more involved relationship with them, it's to be married. And if that's kind of your philosophy of life, if people just kind of want to be players and not do a more formal commitment, if that's not your truth and that's what you want, then I would say you will meet people who are more on the same page as that. And if people are already in a relationship, we can all be tempted. And the people that are in a relationship with people who are loving and encouraging, people kind of might have wondered here about some other people in their life that, maybe if I ever heard from those people or saw those people or certain things, whatever, that maybe I would think anyway that I would want to go do that. But then maybe when the opportunity arises, it kind of helps them kind of get clear about what their truth is. And it could be, I would be indulging my more immature nature. I'd be hurting people I love. And though there can be people in the world that I could have had love for, that I could have at one time thought they were somebody I would like to be in a long-term relationship. If that relationship ended at some point in time and people move forward with other people, it is kind of seeing that, this is really where this is more aligned with my truth, whatever it is. And for some, and I'm going to be encouraged by the people I'm in relationship with, or even a job that I'm going to keep putting work and effort into that. And then again, there could be other people that it's like, I could have moved forward with something, but again, with anybody we move forward with in a relationship, sometimes as time goes by, we're kind of see the truth of some people that wasn't what they were kind of showing us before. And for some people, they might let that relationship move forward, and they might be open to other people who are moving forward in life that aren't in a relationship. And I think the high vibe people are just going to listen to their intuition. Who are the people who who want to be more indulged in a relationship? It's like, oh, well, that person wasn't indulging me as much as they used to. So now I don't want to be in a relationship with them. Hey, I'll come get in a relationship with you. It's like, I am willing to get to know you, but if I think you're still more immature or self indulgent, or you remind me of some people and getting to know you, I've changed over time too, so for anybody who could be someone from the past, you know, some people think, oh, you're like the same person that you were when I knew you when. It's like, no, I'm not the same person I was then, and you're not the same person. People are either continuing to grow and heal and mature themselves, or they're kind of deteriorating in some way of their character and integrity. And I think whoever you meet, whether you're in relationship or not, just any of the people that you meet, you're going to listen to your intuition based on these lessons that you've learned, and you don't want to repeat some old patterns. So as you meet some people and they're like, I want to be the next immature, shadowy, whatever type of person to be in a relationship with you, is like, no, you can keep going and looking for someone else. I'm moving forward. I don't want to repeat that pattern. And I think it'll be the more high vibrational people that are more tempered, are more motivated and inspired to want to be in more emotionally mature relationships, that are the people you're going to move forward with. Okay, what's coming up for the more shadowy people? We have the Queen of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Four of Cups, and the Six of Swords. And the reason that came out is because of the Knight of Wands. So a lot of Sagittarius energy and Leo energy in your reading. Fire sign. And the Fool is kind of like Aries energy. So, well, the more worldly, shadowy people, they have this way of looking at life and living life that they love. And that's what motivates and inspires them. And that's how they want to live life. And part of that is to move forward in this certain way. And again, they can love being in relationships, but it can be more that they have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And it can be more about either them wanting to indulge someone or someone to indulge them. And it's not really love. And people can get in friendship and relationship with them because they're looking for someone to be in friendship and relationship with. And these people can seem, and in a lot of ways can be very loving and nurturing and encouraging and inspiring and stable and grounded. But eventually, the people they're in a relationship with can kind of feel like it's not really motivated by truth and love. It's kind of more love of being in a relationship, enjoying a relationship, but either they never want to bring that dream into reality in the Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. Like, they want to keep ignoring love in the Four of Cups. Let's keep moving forward, ignoring love. Let's work together emotionally, but it's kind of using your emotions more manipulatively. Again, using your sexuality more manipulatively. It looks like love, it quacks like love. Let's keep moving forward in it. This looks good by worldly standards. We look like we've moved on. We look like shining stars in the world. And people can stay in relationship with them for quite a long time, but eventually it's like, do you love me? Is that why we're in this? Or is it more for these other reasons? And that's when some of the other people see the truth and they kind of work through their mental conflict about it. And they communicate to them that, I've wanted this dream to come into reality, but it has to be based on truth and love. And love is where you treat other people the way you want to be treated. And it's supposed to be just and fair and motivated and inspired by love. And I want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to bring that dream into reality, or want someone to indulge them and a little stubborn. Can like, no, we got to do it this way. I have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, but I don't want to see the truth of it. And I kind of think you should indulge me in a relationship or something. Like, I'm going to let someone else do that and I'm going to go. And, so the more high vibrational people in their life, I think will move on. The people in their life that also live their life like that and think like that and view relationships like that, and new people could come into their life. It's like God can use everything for God's good purposes. And if there's shadowy people in the world, there's a lot of people in the world who have to learn these lessons about life. That there are people who are more immature, manipulative, transactional, live more from their mind than their heart, use their intuition in a shadowy way. And they need to learn these lessons about those people. And so other people will come in their life. High vibe, worldly, and shadowy. And again, the more high vibe people will eventually see the truth and out of love for themselves, not willing to settle for an illusion where they kind of have to wear a false mask. If you don't generally want to be in a relationship with me, motivated and inspired by love, then I'll let you and someone else wear a false mask that it's love when it's maybe more sex or status or ego or image or whatever. So there you go, Cancer. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.